It looks to me like Bitcoin is preparing for its next wave higher. And as many of you know, I think this next wave is going to take us to $130,000 plus over these next couple of weeks. And I want to make it clear that at this point, I will be taking some significant profits from my personal portfolio and or the Waves portfolio. But that doesn't mean I think the party is over. And I want to go over a few articles before diving into the charts that kind of echo this same belief. The first is going to be a Cointelegraph article by IREN titled "Bitcoin Up Here is 2026 and the 4-year cycle is dead." This is from the words of the Bitwise exec. And then the second is a CNBC Pro article by Alex Herring titled "Bitcoin is entering a less volatile, more sustainable stage," and this is the argument of Deutsche Bank. Okay, so again, we're going to go over these two quickly, just touch on some of the fundamental momentum and the fundamental bull arguments behind BTC, behind the king, and then we'll dive into the charts, talk BTC. I'll touch on BITX, which I'm currently holding call options on, and then we'll go into Riot and IREN, which are my two favorite mining positions at the moment. And for full transparency, I do hold call options on those as well. My name is Royce Jacob. I hope you enjoyed the video, and welcome back to Waves Capital. All right, you guys. So again, before we dive into the charts, let's go over these articles. Bitcoin up here, 2026. The Bitwise Invest executive admits he could be wrong, but doesn't see 2025 as the end of upside for Bitcoin. Crypto's price could see significant upside in 2026, bucking the traditional 4-year market cycle, according to Bitwise Chief Investment Officer Matt Hogan. The prediction comes as other analysts are divided on whether Bitcoin will stray from its historical pattern or follow the traditional halving cycle and peak in the coming months. Bitcoin may be in for a good few years, says Hogan. Quote, "I bet 2026 is an up year," Hogan said in an X video on Friday. "I broadly think we're in for a good few years," Hogan added. Hogan said the 4-year halving cycle is dead for several reasons, including the Bitcoin halving becoming half as important every 4 years and the interest rate cycle becoming positive for crypto. Since April, U.S. President Donald Trump has been publicly pressuring Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. Keep in mind, you guys, the next FOMC meeting is this upcoming week. From the 29th to the 30th. So stay on your toes for that. A potentially bullish catalyst for Bitcoin is lower rates mark traditional assets like bonds and term deposits less appealing to investors. Okay, so you guys can go on reading this article for yourself. Just go check it out. You just Google the title, you'll find it. But that kind of just goes over some of the key points from this. Okay, moving on. Again, Bitcoin entering a less volatile, more sustainable stage. And I've personally been talking to a bunch of my friends in the space, and even some of my friends who just ask me questions, because I have a bunch of those as well. This really rings true with something that I've been saying for a while, and you probably would have heard me say this too, just in videos or if you read the newsletters. But I do think that Bitcoin is falling out of, or just slowly moving out of this cyclical kind of hype cycle-ish nature that it's been in over the past years. I started playing crypto personally, or Bitcoin, back in like 2016, bought Ether at $36. Still to this day, one of the best just investments I've ever made for pretty obvious reasons. But back then, it looks a lot more like what hype cycles or just what these two-wave patterns that we talk about a lot here on the channel look like today. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you know what a hype cycle is. And I think that Bitcoin is moving away from that, just not only due to the amount of adoption, but I guess it does play into that. Just the sheer scale of Bitcoin, multi-trillion-dollar asset at this point, is just going to keep going up. And as assets become larger, they just innately become less volatile. Now, I'm not saying you can't see volatility due to the size of the asset, but just an easy correlation or just an easy comparison I can make here is like, it'll trade more like the S&P 500 than a meme stock, like GME or Opendoor. Okay, so I'll just read a few short paragraphs here, then we'll dive into the charts. As the cryptocurrency has rallied, Labor pointed out that volatility has also fallen. That can signal that Bitcoin may be less tied to the broader market stability or the lack of it going forward, she said. While excitement over the upcoming legislations has spurred Bitcoin's sharp appreciation, it is notable that Bitcoin's rise has also been accompanied by a historic decline in volatility levels, Labor wrote to clients at a Tuesday note. This combination suggests we are potentially starting to witness a gradual decoupling between Bitcoin spot prices and volatility, she added. This comes as increasing market adoption, regulatory clarity, and institutional participation continue to stabilize Bitcoin's performance over the longer term. And she said it a lot. I mean, she summarized that a lot more eloquently than I just did. But those 3 points, was it 3 or 4 points that we just listed right here, are kind of at the foundation of, again, why Bitcoin is just slowly becoming more stable. Also, it just shows that large holders don't want to sell. And like the amount of long-term holders of whales, long-term, not just whales, but whales who have been holding for a long period of time, the diamond-handed whales, those are at an all-time high. Okay, so those who are holding Bitcoin are selling less than they ever have before, and that's obviously contributes to less volatility, and that's also a good sign for long-term potential. Okay, so now for the exciting stuff. But before we talk the exciting stuff, if you guys, I've been mentioning the portfolio, I've been mentioning the newsletter. If you guys want to know exactly which positions I'm holding, not only the call options on Riot, BITX, and IREN, but literally a full breakdown of my entire portfolio. All my crypto positions, my common share positions, my long-term positions, my investment portfolio. But what I write the newsletters about, what the trade alerts are about, is my options portfolio. Okay, again, with my complete portfolio and daily newsletter, you get a full breakdown of my entire portfolio. But you will also receive my daily trade alerts, my email newsletters, the portfolio analysis newsletters, where we talk names like BTC, Riot, IREN, AI Vary. I'm going to record a Waves Plays right after this, so check that out if you haven't yet. And that is, of course, a YouTube members exclusive. Hit the join button below if you want those. But all of the other plays within the portfolio, they're really exciting, and I see a lot of potential in the short term. $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. If you want to try it out, I do offer a 7-day free trial. You can always just peace out and unsubscribe if you don't like it. But I'm very proud to say that that is a rare occurrence. And yeah, I look forward to having you on the team. It's the first link in the description of this video or the pinned comment if you guys want to join. Welcome to the team if you do. If not, no worries. I appreciate you watching this video. Okay. Hope you gain some value from it too. Let me know what you think about Bitcoin in the comments. How high do you think this rally is going to take us? I'm going to explain how high I think we're going to go right now. So pretty clear as day. You would know these terms very well by now if you've just been tuning into the recent videos. We have a long-term ascending channel here with this line of conservative long-term resistance on the bottom, this line right here, and then this line of absolute long-term resistance up top, okay? So conservative resistance, again, using multiple touch points. Touch point here, couple touch points here, closed candles, closed daily candles. And then you get another daily candle wick here, creating a more solid line of resistance. This is what separates, I should say, the veteran traders from the newer traders. Newer traders who are drawing trend lines are going to draw this line of absolute resistance, and that's where they're going to be looking to take profits. Experienced traders are going to be looking at this line of conservative resistance, again, currently up about 10.5% from here. This is if we are to see it happen over the next couple of weeks, we'll just say by August 15th. I do think this line of conservative resistance will come into play. If you guys are, if you guys are watching this later and this has happened, you can let me know if this panned out as I'm stating right now in the future. But if you guys are watching before this line is tested, I highly, again, none of this is investment advice, you know the drill, but I highly encourage you to play off of this line of conservative resistance instead of this line of absolute resistance, okay? This is where it pays to not get greedy and lock in some profits. And again, if you do think we're going to test this line and even go beyond, if you think we're going to 250, 300K before 2026, that's okay. But please just consider taking some profits, especially if you're trading call options like I am. Once this line of conservative resistance, conservative long-term resistance is tested once again around $130,000, $132,000 if we were to see it pan out over the next couple of weeks. Okay, if we can break out of this long-term ascending channel, if we can break above this line of absolute resistance, keep in mind this would if we were to see 140K over these next couple of weeks, then I would get excited. But just to play it really safe, I would say like 145 by mid-August. If we can see 145 plus just to really secure that breakout, this long-term breakout, this is a strong ascending channel, then I would get excited. If we could see 145K, then I wouldn't be surprised if, things could get really exciting really fast if that's the case. Maybe we see 200, but again, personally, I will be taking significant profits from all of my personal positions, the Waves portfolio positions, once and if we do see this conservative line of resistance tested. And there's not really a point in looking at BITX on the charts. BITX, for those of you who don't know, is a 2x leverage Bitcoin ETF. Once again, for full transparency, I'm holding call options on that right now. I'm just going to sell the entirety of it. Is an 815 call position. I will sell the entirety of that call position once and if Bitcoin rallies to this exact mark that I've just been talking about ad nauseum at this point. Okay, so BITX, just literally a 2x leverage Bitcoin play pretty much, and you can play calls, so it's extra leverage just for a little extra fun. But I'm really excited to see what those can do in the week ahead, especially with the way Bitcoin is looking as we move into the new week. Keep in mind, once again, I said this in the beginning, but the FOMC meeting and Fed decision is dropping, I think, on Wednesday, and it's difficult for me to believe a scenario in which that acts as a negative catalyst. And in my opinion, the upside surprise favors the bulls heavily with this upcoming FOMC meeting, kind of regardless of what happens. I don't at worst, I'm just completely speculating here. Keep this in mind. I think at worst, it doesn't really do anything to the markets. At best, it catalyzes a pretty sharp rally higher, in which case, again, just be on your toes, ready to take some profits. Let's take a look at Riot. Riot has been absolutely crushing it, which I love to see so much. OG, one of the first positions that has been in my portfolio, bought it around $1, some even below $1 way back in the day. Been on the ride with Riot for many, many moons. Obviously through the 2021 bull market cycle and through the heartbreaking lows and ebbs and flows that have been the past couple of years. But right now, which is I guess why it feels especially good to see Riot performing so well and really outperforming the entire mining sector. And right now, Riot has broken above, since we covered in our last video. Riot has broken above successfully. Okay, we've closed a weekly candle. We've closed many daily candles above this line of a long-term resistance. This descending channel was in place since July of 2023. So 2 years this descending channel was in play. We did successfully break above this channel officially on July 18th, which is crazy. This was almost exactly 2 years in this descending channel. And as of right now, we are looking really good. Volume is picking up. We see volume has picked up a lot just over these past few weeks. But volume looking really solid, looking really steady. And they announced earnings on July 31st, which is this Thursday. So get ready for that. Again, I'm really going off Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts blowing up over these next couple of days, I will definitely take profits from Riot. But again, I still think this company is fundamentally undervalued. And let's hope that their earnings report come Thursday can shed some light on, or can kind of reinforce that statement and that belief. Okay, IREN is definitely the most hype play of the year as of right now. And I mean, it looks to me, just given the volume, volume on Friday, keep this in mind. The volume I'm looking at is from the prior week on Friday. Fridays typically have a little less volume. That's just how it rolls. IREN, if Bitcoin climbs, it's pretty likely to me that IREN and Hut, Mara, all those names are going to climb. Right now, Riot is my largest position for sure, and then BITX, of course, is a direct, kind of a direct play on BTC. But IREN, I see a lot of upside potential here. This stock has been, clearly performing incredibly well. Definitely better than Riot. This has been like the hype play within the Bitcoin mining sector over these past really like month or so. So I still see big things here. I still think IREN can see a second wave higher. They don't announce earnings for quite a while, so that leaves this up to the fate. Like that leaves the price of IREN up to in the hands of BTC and just the greater markets, the Nasdaq, etc. So just bullish on IREN. How high does this thing go? To be completely honest, I don't know. But as I said before, I will be taking profits from all positions. That includes IREN and Riot. Once and if Bitcoin hits my target of 130K. And it's dependent upon when this trend line is tested, of course. That's how trend line targets work. But around 130K, even 129, just to really just front run my opponents in these trades. get some extra liquidity around 129K from everyone who thinks we're going to, 132 to 137, 138. I'm excited. I'm excited to take some profits. I'm excited just to see if we can break out. And, I always love seeing Bitcoin succeed and Bitcoin miners succeeding too. Okay. Thank you for watching. Again, let me know in the comments below what you think about all this. If you want to join Waves Capital, if you want my full portfolio and daily trade alert and portfolio analysis newsletters, it's the first link in the description of the video. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.